Okay, it's time for another FLAVR Q&A. I'd like to thank those who watched the first video, or the previous video. And today we're going to look at, well, I didn't get any questions, so I'll start with some questions. And probably the most relevant question for film is why use film? So I'm going to use my own experiences in terms of what I'm doing in relation to workflow, and to give you an idea of the two things that are probably most important in relation to why I'm interested in using film. The first one is archiving. So the ability to archive your material in a fashion that has the least resistance and the most reliability. I mean, really. With digital formats, we find that there are so many different ways that the digital data can be corrupted, and it's not even that. Like, it's just a format. I mean, who would have thought? You know, like 20 years ago, we were using CDs to record data, and now we don't even use them for anything. So there's certain issues like that where you have to continue to re-record your material, you know, from, say, every 3 years or 5 years, and then roll that on and on and on and on, and incorporate that into your workflow. Whereas a roll of film, once it's processed and it's sleeved and it's stored under the right conditions, which is basically heat, no flames, then you're almost ensured of having the capability to archive your images, for decades or more, with very little. Really, all you have to do is ensure that you keep them in the right place. So, that's great. Like, the amount of time that you'd save from that alone, especially over a period of, say, 5 to 10 or 15, 20 years worth of work, having to even having digital cloud storage and all the rest of it. It's like, who knows? Like, you could wake up the next morning and find that your cloud server's gone, or that the terms and conditions have changed. I mean, we've seen that happen as well. So, as far as archiving is concerned, film is just awesome. And it's one of those aspects that people don't think about. Now, in relation to archiving, one of the next points that I like to raise in terms of why I like film as a medium is that once the negative's been captured and you have that image on your negative, then the technology for scanning that negative and bringing it into a digital realm increases in capacity over time. So if you take a picture using film, let's say you use medium format film, you capture an image, in 10 years' time, the capability in digital scanning systems will be that image will give you a much greater image than a comparable digital camera of the same time. So if you take, let's say, for instance, you shoot you shoot on Nikon D800 and you shoot on slide film, in the digital raw file will always remain a 36 meg file for that D800, whereas the negative, or the slide in this case, or negative, whatever the case may be, will, as the technology increases and as the megapixel rate increases and as the depth rate increases as well, you always have that ability to extract more from an image on a negative or on a slide. So, and you're probably thinking, like, why is that relevant in terms of photography? Because most photography that's done professionally is in the moment. It's either weddings or it's in relation to a contract, or it's architectural, or it's a product line, it's fashion. But it also has that archival capability that if 5 years from now, when you go back to have a look at what was going on, you can rescan your image and get a better image than what you could with the technology available in that time. And we see that evidently in movies. So for instance, if your movie is shot on, say, 70mm, then it gives the movie theater or the company who owns the movie the capability to rescan the negs to be able to provide you with the HD, the full HD, the 4K, the 8K, or whatever, as it increases in time and as the capability increases in time, then that asset, that visual asset, has unlimited potential. So that's another thing to consider, and it's one of the reasons that I like film, because it has that capability. It's almost future-proof in that respect, that so long as you can maintain the environment, which is actually quite straightforward, then you can bring your old images back to life in ways that was not available at the period that you took the exposure. So that's it for today. If you have any questions, just jot them down in the comments below, and I'll get to them. And if I don't get any more questions, then I will make up my own questions, and we'll go from there. All right, take care. Bye.